The Brothers of Liberty, here to remind you what true freedom is. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Liberty with the older brother Kelton here. Um, I've touched upon this before, and I'm going to touch upon it again a little bit, going a little bit more deeper about how the Democrats and the left wants to groom your kids and groom our kids, and using Pride Month as a great cover for it too. It's not celebrating um, gays being gay or anything. It's trying to indoctrinate your children so that they will think it's all natural. Just to give some examples, I mean, they had a thing going on in Dallas, Texas. Drag your kids to Pride. New York City spending more than $200,000 on drag queens to read to kids as young as 3 without parent consent since 2018 in public schools. Sophia LaBelle writes about pretending to be a child during sex. Converts real pics of kids into sexual explicit cartoons and speaks out at primary schools to promote his or her book, however you want to call it. In pride parades, people twerking in front of kids. Yes, because there's nothing sexual about that, right? On stage, drag queens showed the genitals at a family-friendly event in Idaho, which is now being investigated. In Fort Lauderdale, Florida, drag queens bouncing fake boobs receiving $1 from a child at Hamburger Mary's and Wilton Manors. No surprise there. I'm from Florida. I can tell you Wilton Manors is pretty much the gay capital of Florida. Um, the World Professional Association for Transgender Health released new guidelines to lower the recommended age for starting children on gender change hormones and mutilating their breast. Changes from 16 to 14, and they're saying that females can have their breasts surgically removed at the age of 15 now instead of 16, and saying as young as an 8-year-old could take puberty blockers, and yet they're not grooming or trying to indoctrinate our children. That's a load of BS, and the Democrats know it. All the deplorables know it. But the list goes on. Books for third graders on children becoming transgender. I already said before, elementary schools no place for any kind of sexuality or politics, but they want to keep shoving it down our throats. And a lot of people think that this is a win column. The organization, World Swimming Organization, bans transgender athletes from women's event, but there's a catch. If they transition before the age of 12, they can still compete. Again, indoctrinating children to do it much younger. Oh, and by the way, that the World Professional Association for Transgender Health, they actually acknowledge the risks of taking puberty blockers and doing all this to children. A lot of them make children infertile, even though the group is composed of doctors, social scientists, and others. And the whole point of this is to make people think it's natural. That's the whole point. Well, here's the problem. I'm going to throw a little science at you. For those who believe in evolution, natural selection, Charles Darwin. If it's natural, then you wouldn't need surgery or medicine to turn one sex to another sex. Yes, you heard me correctly. I'm using science. Good old-fashioned science. Because if a person is born with an X chromosome and a woman, then evolution should give that person a Y chromosome because they are not a female. Just saying. If the person was born a male, then evolution should take away that Y chromosome and leave the X for that person to become a female. Seriously, if you want me to break it down in layman's terms, I'm not going to believe it's natural or evolution until a woman's vagina and breast disappear and the woman in front of me grows balls and a penis. Testicles and penis. Sorry for being graphic, but Same thing with a guy. Not gonna believe it's natural unless his balls and dick falls off and a vagina takes its place. And then, a lot of guys have man boobies. I actually want to see milk come from it, and him birthing a baby, having those reproductive organs naturally. No medicine, no surgical things involved. Because then I will start believing that it's natural. If it happens naturally without medical or surgical assistance. You can call me a bigot all you want. That's not being bigot. That's just expressing my opinion. I'm not going to discriminate against somebody because they think they're one sex or the other. That's completely different ballpark. And that happens when you're an adult. If people believe what kids are going to be when they were 5 years old, 6 years old, how many would be astronauts? How many would be police officers, cowboys, Indians? I said I was going to be a superhero. I'm not jumping off any building and flying anywhere. Just saying. And a drag queen herself, she calls herself the conservative drag queen, Kitty Demure, stated that drag queens are not for children. Repeat that again. The drag king culture is not for children. States that drag queens do sexual things on stage. Don't know why any parents would want to expose their kids to it. And they tell them it's not to ruin a child's life. If you're going to take a person to like that, wait till their 18th birthday. Yes, as an adult. Then again, these Democrats are the same people who, and the left are the same people say a person is not mature enough at the age of 18 to buy a rifle, but they're mature enough at the age of 8 to decide whether they're a man or a woman. Right? Did I miss something here? I mean, seriously, what did I miss? It's not about pride anymore. There was a movement where it identified gay being gay without sexualizing it. Now everything's all sexual to groom the kids. You heard me right. It's about grooming and to make them think it's natural. So adults can have sex with kids. That's the biggest thing about it. Prove me wrong. Actually, prove me wrong. You can't. Because why would they show sexual things to kids? It's like the drag queen said. Would you take your kids to a stripper club? Because Kitty Demore thinks it's the same thing. Taking them to the drag show is like taking your kids to a stripper club. And that's from a drag queen. So debate her on it too. And that's just my opinion on it. What's your opinion? Like, share, subscribe. Feel free to comment. We love discourse. And if you have any topics you want us to discuss, Brothers of Liberty 76 at gmail.com. We'll love to hear from you. And this is how our nation has taken a turn. The perverse. Because the conservatives and the patriots been quiet for so long, and the perverse has taken over. And what happened when the perverse took Rome over? It was only a matter of time before Rome fell. Hey, that's just my opinion, and that's just history. And once again, this is the older brother Liberty reminding you what true freedom is and ought to be.